What is going on, guys? We're back at it again with another episode of TruCapacity Talks. And today I have another wonderful human that I've talked to in the DMs a handful of times that I have not met in person. Maybe one day we'll catch a workout together. But Tara, today, how are you doing? And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, James. Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm doing great.
Well, I am glad to hear it. So let's kind of wind back, right? Um, you get into Camp Gladiator, right, in 2017. Now, prior to that, what did it look like for you as a coach? Were you already pre-certified? Did you have interest? Like, how did you get to Camp Gladiator first and foremost?
That's a great question. It's a really long story, but
We got
I
time.
actually, what's interesting is I had zero fitness background
Mhm.
at all. I came from being homeschooled, played no sports. I was actually the drama class kid who grew up being in plays and was kind of the artsy fartsy girl growing up. And when I was 21 and got married, moved up to North Austin, Texas, I started working out a lot because my customer service job was really terrible. And my husband asked me to quit because it was so bad. And so I started going to school, nannying part time, had a little extra time on my hands. So I started working out a lot, getting really into that. Prior to 21, all I did was running. I was really interested in that. And so I ran from the time I was 16 until 21. Well, I started taking these like Les Mills classes at Gold's Gym across the street, like the body pump, the Tabata. Fell in love with group fitness. I was new to the North Austin area, wanted to make some friends, quickly realized the people who are taking those classes don't really want to be your friend. So I was the weirdo walking around trying to like make friends in the area. And as I was taking classes at the community college here, I was starting to think about what I really wanted to do. And I started to just learn about fitness and nutrition on my own, listening to podcasts. That's when fitness and health podcasts started to become really popular. And then started to just kind of play around with my own nutrition on my own, started tracking my calories and working out and seeing what I could do and kind of using my own body as like a guinea pig. And once I realized that I really enjoyed learning about this was really the first thing that I ever enjoyed learning. I went up to that instructor at a body pump class one day and I said, "Hey, how do I do what you're doing? I think this would be really fun. I think I would be great at leading a group fitness class." And what's funny is she said, "Oh, you don't want to do this. You don't want to be an instructor here at Gold Gym. You get paid like $20 a class." And she said, "I'm actually going to go audition to be a Camp Gladiator trainer this Friday. You should go with me." And so I did. I actually knew about Camp Gladiator a little bit. My roommate's best friend had joined and we were friends. So it kind of took off from there.
Yeah. For those people that don't know, can you kind of walk through top bottom? You don't need to give us a sales pitch, but what is Camp Gladiator? Who's it for? How do people become instruct? Like, what the heck is it? Because to the outside, a lot of times people may look at that and say, like, what is this, like Peloton? Like, is this some like just random online membership thing? Like, what is Camp Gladiator?
Yeah, that's a great question. Not a sales pitch, but basically to explain it, it's changed since 2020 as a
Mm-hmm.
lot of fitness companies
Mm-hmm.
have. But prior to 2020, Camp Gladiator is an outdoor group fitness company. It was one of the number one fitness group fitness companies in America. It was fast growing. We are located nationwide and we actually launched in Atlanta, Georgia in 2020 prior to COVID. And so we were this amazing outdoor boot camp for every single body. Now, when people hear Camp Gladiator, they hear boot camp, they think, "Oh my God, that sounds intimidating." Not for me. Actually, quite the contrary. It is one of the most inclusive group fitness classes that I've ever seen. A lot of the times, I feel like if someone has done CrossFit, it's very similar to that. You have your elderly people, you have your young people, you have injured people, you have people who are trying to lose weight, gain weight, everybody across the board. And it's an amazing, all inclusive community, a very positive, family friendly environment. Post COVID, we've also come out with online workouts that you can do nutrition coaching that you can do. So we kind of do it all. So there are still outdoor group fitness classes you can take, also online live workouts that you can do that are group fitness as well as on demand and nutrition. And we just launched yoga as well. So we're starting to come out with a lot of different things. It's very diverse now.
So primarily in person, but then have a full online platform.
Correct.
And you mentioned on there's another podcast that you mentioned that you're a franchise owner. What
Yes.
what does that mean? Is that similar to like if you own an F-45 or you own an Orange Theory? Like, do you have IP for a certain amount of area? Like, is it a territory? Like, what does that mean?
So that's kind of a complicated answer
Mm-hmm.
because at the time when I mentioned that in the podcast, it was true.
Mm-hmm.
It's not true anymore. Camp Gladiator started out that trainers were independent contractors,
Mm-hmm.
1099 employees. And then in 2019, at the end, we became a franchise business model. So we transitioned fully to
Mm-hmm.
franchise. Well, at the end of 2020, that wasn't really the best choice. It was a lot more costly for us trainers, more fees. And so, how that kind of worked for the year that I owned that franchise, it was really cool. I basically, the physical component of that is I owned the camps that I had. For example, the park here in my neighborhood is where I ran all of my workouts. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I had morning, afternoon, and 2 evening camps. That was my franchise. I owned that park location at that time and day. All the clients who had signed up at that location were paying me. And so I owned that. So another trainer could set up at that time at that location, but at different times and days that would really complement mine. So that was basically how the franchise worked. And then when we realized that it was actually costing us a lot more, we went
Mm-hmm.
back to the 1099 independent contract business model.
Okay, so that works now. You have your own in person like home gym or location, or still doing boot camps. Like, how did that kind of change the way that you're fulfilling clients?
Yeah. So Camp Gladiator changed back
Mm-hmm.
to independent
Mm-hmm.
contractor. And then I have actually slowly transitioned away from training with them. So officially, as of May of this year, I have stopped training with them. And in August last month, I have launched my own training business. So I own my LLC. I train clients out of my home gym that I just finished building. So that's what I do. I'm fully on my own now, but I do nutrition coaching with CG. So I'm still with the company, but I'm just doing nutrition. So that they
Got
did
it.
go back to independent contract,
Mm-hmm.
but now I just kind of do training on my own.
Okay, that makes way more sense because I've seen some of your videos, right, with I believe their logo on the back. No, like they're like a
Yes.
banner.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was very confused, right? You've got 500 links on your link tree, so very confused there. But that makes sense. So you no longer are training with them like under on their platform, getting clients through them and fulfilling through them with them taking money and then paying you out, what have you. You made the shift to you doing that solo on the training side. Is that both in person and online?
Yes. I hesitate because I am training
Mm-hmm.
in person and I'm figuring out the online. I
Mm-hmm.
do have a family friend who lives about an hour away and I'm writing her programs. I write my family member programs,
Mm-hmm.
but and we check in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still figuring that out. I have a lot of ideas and I'm working on things behind the scenes to really consolidate my thousands of links on Linktree and to come out with like workouts that people can download online. That is my dream. But as of last month, just launching my own training business right now, I'm just focusing on training in person. So the online stuff, yeah, yes, I have a few clients online, but it's kind of like they're more like guinea pigs right now, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely does. How, I mean, with the amount of you post a like a ridiculous amount of content, right? A ridiculous amount of content on Instagram and on TikTok. Like, how have you seen that impact your overall business if you're not taking a ton of online clients?
Wow. It really has impacted my I was actually just having this thought this morning of thinking about Instagram and TikTok and how I've really built my business on Instagram. Like I really have. And it's amazing. And it's such a privilege because I made my Instagram the day I joined Camp Gladiator. I
Mhm.
just made my fitness Instagram. And I would always post about my boot camps and my client success, testimonials and just documenting this journey. And it didn't really bring in any new clients, right? Because I wasn't online. I was
Mhm.
only located here in Pflugerville, Texas.
Mhm.
But then in 2020, when I then was able to offer online classes, and then I started noticing how social media just had a lot of myths about fitness and health. And people were just saying some like crazy things that were not true. And me being and they weren't even professionals. And me being the professional, I was like, well, I want to come on here and kind of
Mhm.
debunk some of this false information because a lot of my clients would come up to me and they would say, I don't know what's true, Tara. I could Google this and look it up and then Google the opposite and look it up. And they're both telling me that they're right. And so I started posting consistently in 2020. And oh my God, it brought on a lot of online clients. I would say when I was training online, when I had boot camps online for the 3 years that I did, I would tell you probably 50, 60, up to 70% of them were from Instagram and TikTok, um, which was so awesome. And now that I do nutrition is fully remote, it's all online. I have been able to be one of the top most successful nutrition coaches because a lot of my clients are coming from my social media
Mhm.
posts.
Yeah. Let me ask you something, probably a little bit more difficult of a question, and maybe a question that politically you won't want to answer because you are still affiliated with them. If you're a nutrition coach and you're one of their most successful, but they have plans that start for people at $49 a month, how the heck are you making money?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And I have no problem. I have no problem being honest.
Mhm.
I'm not worried about this. Um, I to me, it really depends on the coach.
Mhm.
I am on the nutrition committee
Mhm.
and I help bring education to the other nutritionists. Something that I have realized is coaches are passionate about helping their clients, which is a great thing. But I think that coaches sometimes uh how do you say over expend themselves. They don't have no boundaries with their clients. And so the 49 a month, I mean, you have to justify how much of that is valuable to you. Are you going to do a weekly check-in? Are you going to be unlimited, text available? That's what is worth your time. And so setting up those boundaries. I have a lot of clients. I don't have 100, but I have an amount that I think is very manageable for my time and still worth the income because I set boundaries. I don't respond on the weekends. I don't respond after 9 p.m. I do one monthly check-in call with everyone. It, and everyone's a little bit different. If I see that they might need a little bit more spoon feeding, if you will, that might sound a little bit negative, but it's not. If I really care and I'm like, hey, you're just starting, let's actually check in every 2 weeks. We'll do that. Um, I set boundaries because, and I have said this to clients before, you're paying me $49 a month. These things that you want me to do is not the price that you're paying. If you want more specific plans, you're going to be paying a lot more. And you can go find that and I can recommend some great RDs to you. But I'm not an RD and I'm not going to customize these plans more than they already are. Did that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, my follow-up question would be, is nutrition coaching from Camp Gladiator $49 across the board?
No, I know we actually just increased our prices.
Mm.
I want to say it's 49 for 6 months,
Like
39 for a
on a
year.
6 month commitment?
Yeah, it's a 6 month commitment. And then I
Mm.
think it's like 59 for 3 months. So we have a 3 month commitment, a 6 month, and a 12 month. And so I think the 49 is for the 6 months. So which is about what most people pick. So It's not across the board. It depends on if you want to do a 12-month or a 3-month commitment.
Yeah. Very interesting to me, knowing what I charge online and knowing what other people charge online. That's a very interesting price point that I am happy to hear that you have boundaries, but I'm also like in my chair, like
Yeah.
cringing internally that you, with the knowledge that you have and the experiences you have, are only getting paid by people $49 a month to do all that.
Yes, James, I appreciate that because you know what? I would say in 2017, when I
Mm-hmm.
started my boot camps, very
Mm-hmm.
similar pricing. We just increased our prices. And I thought, like, wow, how the same thing that you just asked me, how am I making money when these people are paying me $60 a month, but I'm not even getting 100% of the $60? CG takes some, I make the majority, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
still not making 100%. But to me, it was worth it at the time because
Mm-hmm.
I had zero training
Yeah.
background. And now that I did my outdoor boot camps for 5 years, and the education that I got from other trainers and
Mm-hmm.
attending the conferences was extremely valuable. And now I know my worth. And now I charge quadruple that amount for someone to come in to my gym and train with me one on one. Right. So, like, I've scaled that because I know my value, like you're saying. I felt that way with the boot camps. And that's one of the reasons I left the training
Yeah.
side, because there's a lot of reasons, but that was one of the bigger reasons, was like, this isn't worth it anymore. As much as I love my clients, this is not worth my time anymore because I know my value and I want to be able to have a little bit more control and make 100% of this.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying. I have strong boundaries. I'm a very assertive woman. I have no problem putting my foot down and saying, like, look, buddy, you want these custom plans? You got to go pay more money. This is what I'm offering to you. But I'm kind of scaling it. I'm using it as experience, and the goal will eventually to be on my own with nutrition as
Mm-hmm.
well, definitely making more money.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. I mean, look, everything is not about money. However, with the money box checked, right, with that completely out of the way, you can focus on other things that are non-monetary, but without that, there's always that stress. So I just like to push back on that just a weensy bit.
I'm glad you did.
Since you have jumped, right, and taken, hey, you got full responsibility whether it fails or you win, and to what level on the continuum that you are going to win on the in person a month in, how are you feeling?
Amazing. I have made the best decision. I look back, I actually, again, was just having this thought not that long ago. And I've been going to therapy once a week for the last 3 years. And I went in to my therapist session and I was like, I don't know, I just talked about my career. And I just looked back at the last year, and my therapist and I were kind of reevaluating the last year. And I was like, wow, actually, that was really good timing. I've made some great choices. Even like a year ago was when I sold my camps to another trainer. So I sold all of my clients off to other trainers here in the area. And I stayed up at night wondering if that was the right choice. And then 8 months later, that's when I also stepped down from online and Gladiator. In May, I was still, again, not sure if I made the right choice. And then here in August, I've made about 7 free assessments from old clients of mine from Camp Gladiator who wanted to come train with me. And one of them has officially signed up for 8 weeks, and it was really great. You'll know how this feels, James. I got paid all up at front. She was like, here it all is. I'm committed. Let's do this for 8 weeks. And she was one of my favorite clients at Camp Gladiator. So that was really great. And I missed training people in person. And I I know that I know how to get people strong and achieve their goals and get them looking the way that they want to look through strength training. And I'm excited to share that. And so getting my first client in the door, we just started a week ago, and it's already amazing. She's already having major success with her goals and talking to other people about helping them with their goals and hopefully getting them in the door as well. It's extremely rewarding. I am very passionate about training people, and it's been great. And I can tell that this was the right choice and that I've made good business decisions.
Well, hell yeah. It sounds like that Camp Gladiator, for everything that was worth and everything that's taught you and everything that has brought you and the experience and being pushed out of your comfort zone when you knew nothing to where you are here, it's been a heck of a transition for you that has set you up to do better, bigger and better things yourself.
Absolutely. I would agree. But also, I need to tell you that I had a friend of mine give me a call. He is not and was never a CG trainer, but he lives about 5 minutes away from me and he trains independently out of his garage. Mm-hmm. And I was feeling really discouraged over the summer because I let go of my online, and I actually was trying to do strength training through Camp Gladiator. They offer that. They offer trainers to do one-on-one small group strength training, whether that's at a gym, at a boutique gym, or out of their garage, or out of a client's garage. I launched that in February of this year. And within the 6 months that I had that available on my Camp Gladiator website, I had one client. And she was amazing. I love her. I loved our time together, but she didn't even pay the one-on-one pricing. I gave her a deal because I just wanted a body in the garage, and I just wanted to train somebody to get content and to be posting about this. And then when we were done with our 8-week program, I stepped down from online. I still had this strength program through CG and no bites. And it was really shocking to me, actually. And then this friend of mine calls me because he said that he thinks somebody that he knows should do nutrition with CG. So he wanted to connect her with me. And then he just asks me, how are you doing, by the way? I'm kind of similar to you. He's like, I'm a little bit confused. Are you not? I said, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm totally lost. I'm confused. I'm feeling really discouraged. I just want to train people. And it was interesting because he said, well, Tara, why don't you just come over and talk? Because one of the things that he does is he has been in the fitness industry for over 13 years. He actually will have a conversation with someone who's interested in fitness, nutrition, health, and he'll get them plugged into where he thinks that they, whatever would best suit them. That's why he had called me, because this lady, he said he thinks should do nutrition. So I was like, all right. So I went over there. Amazing conversation to get somebody who was never affiliated with CG, because that's all that I knew. I had not been in the fitness industry prior to CG. And then when I joined CG, I was like sold out. This was like, I drank the Kool-Aid. I don't know how long you've been following me, but like drank the Kool-Aid. And it was eat, breathe, CG. And it was a terrible work-life balance. And there were weeks that I was working definitely 80 hours for my boot camps, events, meetings, just anything under the sun. I did it all. CG trainers have several hats that we wear. And when I talked to my friend, he independently out of his garage for over 3 years. And James, you would laugh at him. No website, no waivers, no business cards. I was like, what are you doing? And then his wife came out and she said, well, my dad's a CPA, so like he's doing everything legally. It's fine. I was like, okay, thank God. I was a little worried. But his perspective, he was like, I just talk to people, Tara. I'm at Target. I'm like, hey, I like your shirt, James. Like, tell me more. I connect with people, and then they become my clients, and then they refer other people. And just his mindset, I will say it, as much as I love my friend, he's a little old school, but that changed my perspective so much. And just talking to him and getting a feel of what it's like to be able to do this without CG, because I would say that it was almost borderline a cult for me. Mm-hmm. Just that drinking that Kool-Aid, So getting his perspective when I talked to him June or July of this year, I was like, all right, that's it. I'm quitting CG, all of the training with them. I'm out. I've got my LLC. I've had it for years. I'm just going to put it out there. And I put it out there. I just said, hey, I'm training under my own name. I had 10 people message me like right away. And it was insane. And I had set up like 6 or 7 free assessments and just had people talking about their goals. And like, maybe they didn't sign up with me, but they said like, when I'm ready, I'm going to sign up with you. Or, you gave me valuable information, and it was just the right choice. It was really great.
Yeah. It sounds like you've grown a ton.
Yeah.
A
I
ton.
have.
Got a little push, got a little kick on the ass from a friend that might be old school in some ways, and maybe you don't see eye to eye on everything, but I don't see eye to eye on most people that push me either. A lot of times it's like, you got a blind spot here, James, or like James thinks I have a blind spot here, or and that's cool. I guess I'm very very surprised to hear that you took the CG training all the way up to this point, because your social media doesn't reflect that you're in that kind of position at all. Like the way that you're communicating with clients and prospects, the type of information you're putting out, the frequency that you're putting it out communicates that the business is a whole lot bigger, right? And a whole lot more solo than I guess it has been, which is very interesting to me to hear. I think that tells me something also interesting, that if you continue on the path that you're on, and we're gonna have to dive into this because I heard you say something on another podcast that you might be good at sales, but you don't like it. And I think that is a massive limiting belief that will stop you from making oodles of money. And I
Hmm.
think it's because you're looking at it incorrectly. And not incorrectly because James knows it all, but incorrectly because the only way that you can actually change somebody's body is to help them, first of all, believe in themselves, and then walk them through and show them that they can do it. But if you never have the opportunity to put them through a session with you, how the hell are you going to impact them in a positive manner?
Hmm.
If you're not willing to get
Tell
better
me
at
more about that.
convincing someone to be in a
Hmm.
position where they allow you to help them, how are you going to help as many people as you want?
Hmm. Tell me what you mean more about that, because I'm curious to learn more about what you mean as far as getting them in to experience. Are you saying like experience a free workout?
No,
What do
it's
you
not about free or not free. It's not about paid or unpaid. It's that you've made a statement about being good at sales but not liking it, not wanting to be salesy, not wanting to push people, not wanting to overcome objections because you don't want to be pushy. But I think that you're in the exact position to be pushier for their benefit, not yours, to do
mean?
what's in the best benefit of the client. And I think
Yeah.
that having the belief that like, I'm good at sales, but I don't want to do it, I don't want to push people, is stopping you from having the impact that you could have.
Hmm. I'm interested to dive deeper into this because I I don't remember saying that, but it also sounds like me because I have been testing out some different things. I've been reading lots of books about sales and communication and leadership in business. That's probably my favorite category of books. And for example, I have this one who came in and he did an assessment with me. Kind of a strange guy, but I love him. Like I love weird people. I love
Define strange.
strange.
What do you mean by strange?
Um, I don't know. He was just kind of a weird guy. I don't really know how to explain it. I think we all have probably different definitions of weird, but he was referred to me by a different trainer because he lives here and not where this trainer lives. So we got on the phone and I knew that he was going to be calling me, right? And so I answered it and he said, "Sarah, this is so and so. What do you think about keto ACV gummies? Think about that." It's the first thing he said to me. I said, "Well, I haven't heard of this. I don't know your goals. So I don't know if you should be taking that or not, if that's even the question that you're asking me." Right? It was kind of strange, like no context. He got on there on the call with me, I thought, to schedule a free fitness assessment. And he was asking me about these like keto gummies. And so it's like so strange. And then he said he likes to talk. But then it was just weird because then we set up the free assessment. He comes over and he walks in and he was 15 minutes late. And, that's fine. I'm very informal. I'm very casual. It's my own thing. People have lives. I get it. But I called him at 6:15. He was supposed to be there at 6. And he said, "Hey, I'm 1 minute away. Like, why are you calling me?" And I said, "Oh, I just want to make sure you're okay. Like, I didn't know if something happened or if we were still on for today." And he showed up and he said, so you want people to be on time? Yeah, we're going to have to think about that. We're going to have to talk about that later. I was like, I mean, I'm just glad you're okay. But it was just kind of strange that he was like, kind of weird. His response to me checking in with him at 15 minutes after our appointment, he thought that that was weird. And then we came in, he said, well, I want to talk about nutrition. I'm going to go to the grocery store after this. Can you give me a grocery list? And I said, we're here for a fitness assessment. If you want to talk about nutrition, I would definitely love to schedule a consultation with you, but that's going to have to be at a different time than the fitness assessment, unless you're more interested in that right now. I don't know your goals, so I don't know if I could give you a grocery list. It was just a really weird like interaction. Again, I love him. I thought it was great. Like I said, I love weird and strange people. And so we did the assessment. And this is one of those clients where the form was so like it needs a lot of work. And he's got a terrible home life, a toxic relationship right now, and he just wants to get out of the house. He wants to feel better. He wants to gain strength, lose some weight. And I told him, I was like, I really want to help you. I want to get you out of this toxic environment and just get you to feel better. And I feel like it can help with your stress levels. And, you can come over here and this will be a good time. We'll, enjoy working together and I can definitely help you reach your goals. And, it was one of those clients where I really want to help him. Like, I really want to sign him up with me. There's might be some clients where you're like, yeah, I could go the rest of my life never working with you. But even though he felt awkward and strange, and I think that sometimes he did feel comfortable, to really make that a point that like, hey, it's fine. Like, this is a safe place. You can come here. We'll achieve your goals. Like, to be stressed when you're here and my girl with me. And I sent him my rates and I texted him a few times. And my me telling you this is I've tried a way that's like gentle.
Hey, pause. Tara, can you hear me?
Yes.
You just cut out. So
I'm
I
so
heard
sorry.
the last thing that I heard was you sent him rates and then what?
Yes. And then I texted him a few times. This is about a week and a half ago at this point. He has completely ghosted me. Mm-hmm. And I'm feeling sad that he's not reaching his goals. It's that passion and that trainer in me, right? So I've approached it in a way that's very gentle. Hey, I know that you want to achieve these goals, and I know that I can help you do that. This is going to be a positive impact on your life. When do you want to get started? Do my rates work for you? Not really as pushy as maybe some people would interpret, but I'm curious, like, how would I handle that in a more pushy way, like you're saying?
Well, it's not about being pushy, right? It's about getting them to believe in themselves enough to take the leap, right? By very nature, sales and persuasion is simply getting someone to believe in themselves as much as you do on the other side, right? And believe in the things that will actually help them. Now, there's something that's there's an underpinning here that what you're recommending and what you're walking someone down needs to actually benefit them in the way that it should. Like, otherwise you're being manipulative piece of shit and you shouldn't be doing that. But so long as the goal that they actually have, what you have will help them, right? Your inability to get someone to believe in themselves is a failure on your behalf to actually help them.
Okay.
And being in a position where you have an opportunity where that the interactions that you just gave me, that's straight up a power frame. I run this. It's going to be on my time. I'm going to tell you how we want to do this. I'm going to make you give me this, that, and the other. That is straight up just psychologically him wanting to have some control in that scenario. Perhaps because someone else has control in his life, or perhaps he doesn't have control in his regular life. And that is what it is. But I think that the thing that we miss a lot is that making sales and closing people and getting someone to believe in themselves enough to take the leap doesn't mean that we're being shitty or sleazy or scuzzy. Like, legitimately, you getting better at sales, you getting better at handling someone like that, redirecting conversations, framing back, and getting him to make a decision on site will change his life. What happens if the next time that you encounter someone like that, you're in a position where you get him to understand the consequences of not moving forward today? You don't send him rates later. You have him make a decision right there, and you walk him through the decision process in front of you. And maybe he still doesn't sign up, but at least you got him to see the whole picture. right? Not the picture that he wants to see when he's not with you, not the justification that he can see when he's not with you. Like,
Yeah.
so much of the ability for you to be able to help more people is going to come down to because you're disaffiliated. You're not affiliated with another organization that's going to feed you people anymore. It's not going to happen, right? You might have referrals from current clients or from other trainers. And I think that's beautiful. That's wonderful. Can't depend on that, right? Word of mouth is
Yeah.
important, and your skills to get people to believe in themselves enough to take the jump is what's most important. Because if your product is actually at the level that it sounds like you would say that it is, and other people that would say that it is, then you'll have positive word of mouth, right? Not negative. And so your business will never stop growing. But you got to get those people in there and be on your own first.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. I think that you're right. I I really liked how you said instead of getting him to see and make the excuses, and I think you're right. I think that that's what's happened with him is he got back into his old habits. He got back into his toxic environment with this toxic relationship that he's in. And it when he was sharing his personal life with me, it sounded terrible. I mean, he works from home, he has to deal with this all the time. And I bet he got back into that. And then, of course, there's psychological and emotional negative consequences that can come with that of like maybe they start to feel shitty, maybe they have low self-esteem now, like I don't deserve to hire this trainer, I'm just, my life sucks. It can be self-loathing, pity party type of situation. And so I think you're right, he probably just went back home and went back into his normal routine and totally forgot about me. And instead, I think I could definitely tweak my closing approach in a way that's like getting somebody to make a decision then and there, especially since the intention that I have for free assessments is that they come to my house, they see me, they get to meet me in person if they haven't already, but they get in the gym and they get to be assessed by me. They get a taste of what it's like to be there and they can feel my passion, my just how good of a trainer that I am. And they understand that it's personable and that I care about them and they can feel that. And so I think you're right. I think that it's not pushy, but it's more intentional in a way that's like, see, like I like how you said it, the consequences of not doing it. I think that that's a good way to articulate that.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, the pain of staying the same, right? The pain of that has to be greater than the pain of change. Otherwise, no one's going to change. And people that are in chaotic scenarios and situationships, relationships, etc. I mean, at a point, psychologically, you crave that, right? It's normal, right? Subconsciously, that's where you're going to want to stay. And so, unless when he's crying out for help and telling you that this, and this are happening, right? And unless you can show him a future where that doesn't change versus a future where all of that changes, most people aren't going to make a decision. And it's a B2C decision, right? It's a business to consumer, not business to business. Business to business is a longer sales cycle. I have not found in over 600 one-on-one sales scenarios, I have not found more than a 5% close rate if people leave after the first meeting and don't sign up. 600 plus over the last 2 years, 600 plus appointments. 5% have ever closed if they didn't close on the first time.
Okay.
You're there to help them make a decision. And that decision on the spot might be not to work with you. That's okay if it serves them best, right? But the problem is, I think us as an industry, we've gotten to a place where like we're told that salesmen are bad and sales is bad. And I think it's literally the threshold crossing that you have to get good enough at to actually help the people that you want to help. If you're not affiliated with Lifetime or Gold's Gym or World Gym, or you're not up under another umbrella, right? You don't have namesake. You don't have a brand to fall back on.
Mm-hmm.
You have your ability to communicate and hear someone. And obviously he wants to be heard, right? Also wants probably a little bit more control in his life. I think that that's a learning lesson, not a loss, right? I've made far greater falls in sessions all over the place. I think that it's a belief that's held by a lot of trainers that sales is like I just like shouldn't sell, and that belief got broken for me by Alex Hormozy, right? Someone that beat it into my head that no, like the way to be a better trainer is to be a better salesman, because if you're a better salesman, you can get more people to get in the door, and you can show them what you can do for them, thereby helping more people. If you can never get them in the door, you can never help the amount of people that you want to.
Yeah,
Straight up.
that's true. That's really true, James. And I really appreciate you challenging me on that because I'm learning and
Mm-hmm.
I'm open to learning and I'm very teachable and I know that I can learn from every person that I encounter. I can learn something new. And I really appreciate that. And you're really starting to turn the wheels in my head of how can I improve my closing routine? How can I improve my fitness assessments? Because that is something I think that I'm losing a lot of people once they get in the car, they leave, they kind of just forget about me, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and that's, I think, very real. And I think having them there in the moment with me, it would be a lot harder to say no to me and their goals, you know? So I think that what you're saying is really true.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I mean, it's anecdotal. Like, take it for what it is. I mean, it's something that I've seen that has absolutely not worked. No matter how many times I tried to logic my way into saying, well, they're going to go talk to their spouse, or they're going to go home and they're going to think about it, and they're going to like, they're not. I mean, I've looked at so many game tapes where I've seen the life leave their face right on a Zoom call, and I'm like, damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Retrospectively looking at it, like, nope, that's where they went. So I think that it's something that we could all do better at just the understanding that, like, you're in this, you did not leave Camp Gladiator, right, to struggle. You left Camp
Yes.
Gladiator to be in a spot where you could own the process from top to bottom. You're going to have to go through some iterations. You're 30
Mm-hmm.
days in, roughly, right?
Yeah.
It is what it is. There's going to be a lot more of that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's very true. And I appreciate that. I that is so true about Camp Gladiator and having that umbrella to fall back on, like you said. And you also mentioned how my social media maybe doesn't portray the truth about what my business is actually doing. I will say, as far as nutrition goes, that since I started that a year ago, that has been thriving and growing, and I'm constantly getting new clients and signing them up, which is
Mm-hmm.
great. And like I said, it's very manageable. Like I've got, by the time I have two more, maybe one falls off, you know. um as far as the training goes, I mean, like in 2018 and 19 and up until 2020, I was like a thriving boot camp trainer. I had 100 outdoor clients. I had a lot of clients and I was very successful. And my first year in CG, I was top 30 successful trainer out of 1,000 people. So I have been up there. And now that I am like, hey, I am done with this. I want to do it on my own. I want to make 100% own the process. Like you said, I'm ready for that. And I agree with you. I should have started this a long time ago. I do think that, you know, that is my only regret. It's like, wow, I should have had a home gym like a long time ago. And I should have been training people like in person a long time ago. But I am now, and that's all that matters. And so I do like, you know, I still am very genuine in what I post. I'm the only person on my team. Everything that I post is 100% me. I don't have anybody else helping me. And it's all, like you said, it's all client, you know, experiences, conversations I've had with clients, and things on my mind. Like you said, every week there's always something, whether it's a new trend or a new study I read or something like that. That's usually what's in inspiring my posts. So I hope that you know that it's not like genuine. I was a thriving CG trainer. I've left and now I'm trying to be a thriving independent trainer with a thriving nutrition coaching business on the side.
Yeah, seems very interesting that you feel you need to justify that, because I don't think that you're not a thriving trainer. You're not someone that's being genuine or sincere. I think that there's just an opportunity for you with the way that your business looks from the outside to step
Mm-hmm.
fully into what that would mean if it was all 100% true top to bottom. I think that there's just a lot of opportunity there, right? Because from the outside, the business looks one way, right? And inside, you're just jumping into this being solo. And so it should be that my intention was more to shine a light on something that could be a massive opportunity, as opposed to saying you're incongruent.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm not understanding because I would love to learn more about that because I definitely um I I'm justifying it because I want to come across genuine, and I want to come across like this is I that's actually one of my biggest missions, is to be like, this is real life. Like
Mhm.
this is real. When it comes to my own nutrition, my own fitness,
Mhm.
and clients who are struggling. And so I guess maybe it's still coming across as a thriving training business, because I maybe I do want some more in-person training
Mhm.
clients, but I still feel like it is thriving for me, and it was. So maybe that's still coming across, but I don't know, maybe I'm not understanding exactly what you mean, because I guess I'm unclear on that.
Yeah,
I don't know
there's
if you
not
can.
Tara. There's not a problem, right? You're
Okay.
trying to play search and destroy to find the mission, right? Find the problem and destroy the ship and keep moving. There's not a problem. What I was saying is that you're in a position where your social media reflects the social media of someone that would have 100 one-on-one clients in person and online by themselves. So what I'm
Oh.
really saying is that your media is reflecting the level of success that someone at that area would reflect, which means that you have a
Oh.
massive opportunity to catch the business side up with the social media side.
Okay, I think I understand now. I think I'm clear. So you're saying that, like, I'm not per- false reality, but you're saying the potential that you're seeing isn't actually being played out, and you think that there's more potential. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there's 100% tons of
Okay,
potential, and
we're on the
having an
same page then.
understanding
That
that
makes sense.
you're not in Camp Gladiator at the level that you were makes a lot of sense. Why your in-person clients and your online clients aren't at the quantity that usually someone posting the kind of stuff that you are would be at, because you just made a shift, right?
Yeah.
That's a piece of
Mm-hmm.
information that a lot of people don't know, right?
Yeah.
People are not in your head. People are not there day to day. So they can't see, hey, I made this decision this day. I jumped out here. Like, you made a post, but I didn't see the post, and I follow you and I engage with a decent amount of your stuff. And I didn't see that post or see the story or
Yeah.
what have you. So, like, how many other people didn't, right? Now,
Yeah.
does that mean that you're in a bad position? Absolutely not. And I want you not for a second to think that you're not being sincere, because I think that the content that you're posting is the stuff that resonates with you, stuff that your clients ask you, stuff that is going on there. I mean, I've looked at tons of it. Never once have I looked at your client at your content and been like, "Oh man, this doesn't look real," or "This looks stupid." Um, the perception based on the
Yeah.
volume and the quality of it, though, gives that you have a massive training company, and
Hmm.
it's not wrong. When you
Yeah.
were at Camp Gladiator pushing 100 miles an hour, you did have tons and tons and tons and tons of clients. Now you
Mm-hmm.
set a reset, downshifted to jump out on your own. There's going to be a lag period. That's okay,
Yeah.
right? But no justifying, no need for any of that. You're rocking. Like, it's not a bad thing. It's an observation that there's a massive amount of opportunity for you to
Yeah.
backfill all those spaces that you previously had filled.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I think I was confused, so I thank you for the clarity. And I really appreciate that, because I think that I'm gonna figure that out. I like, to be honest with you, I don't think that I want 100 in-person training clients,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm charging what I'm worth now, because I get to make that choice on my
Mm-hmm.
own. And I'm charging what I know and what's worth my time. And so I want more clients, but I'm going to have to kind of figure out what works best for me, because work life balance is super important to me. And having those boundaries and figuring out what works best for me. So maybe not filling those all 100 seats, but I definitely want to just like one or two more
Mm-hmm.
clients in the door. I think that that would be really feasible for me, managing, still be able to pay to everybody personally, because I'm very personable with all of my clients, and then also still having the income that I want. So that makes sense now. I apologize, I was confused. So we're on the same page now, and I appreciate it. I think it's actually a compliment now, because you're saying that, like, you see the potential, and I was super successful, and now I'm in that transition, and so now I need to work on building that up.
Yeah. You got to downshift, right? You got to downshift and you change lanes. So it's going to be a minute. It is what it
Mm-hmm.
is. If 100 clients is not what you're shooting for, what's the North Star?
I actually
And
haven't
not
figured
on
that
some
out.
altruistic, don't give me a tagline. Like, what is legitimately the North Star? I don't give a shit about whatever mission statement everyone fucking posts those everywhere. Like, what is
I
the
don't
actual
think
North Star?
Yeah, I don't think I have a mission statement yet. I haven't even done that part. I I think I would love one or two more training clients.
Mhm.
And I think I'm at like uh 30 or 40 nutrition clients right now. I'd like
Shit.
to get closer to
Hold on.
100
Time out. Time out. Time out. We can't skip over that. 30 or 40 with Camp Gladiator online.
nutrition clients. Yes,
Holy
yes.
shit. That's a lot of people to be checking in with. And you do a call with every single one of them?
I do a monthly call with, well, the thing is, James, is you know how people are. I reach out to them,
Mhm.
I schedule these calls. Some of them ghost me, some of them just want the meal plans. They don't want me to check in.
Mhm.
It's all over the place. So I realistically, I'm not on a monthly call with every single
Mhm.
person because I don't want that. Everybody's a little bit different, but in general, that's kind of how I do it. And so I would say, I mean, it's definitely manageable. I do like maybe one or two, most 4 30-minute calls in a day at most, but I spread them out through the week. 30 to 40. I think I'm at like, I can't remember. I'd have to look, but I'd like to get closer to
Mhm.
100 because like I said, everybody's different. Sometimes they just want the meal plan. Sometimes they want more of that one-on-one, like help me with my relationship with food. And so I
Mhm.
do that. But another way that I scale that, because we talked about setting boundaries as coaches, I do a group weekly call with everybody.
Mhm.
So very valuable. Tuesday nights we get on every week. It's an accountability call. We just get on. I'll ask them an accountability question. We'll go around and we'll share. Of course, not everybody's obligated to join and share. It's whoever's comfortable. It's pretty great. I got like 4 7 people on average going up and engaging in that accountability. And I love to make that space for them. It's only 30 minutes a week.
Mhm.
And then every other week I do a topic. So again, I'll spend 30 minutes on covering a trendy new diet, cover all the macros, anything to do with health and fitness. I will take time those 2 weeks preparing and diving deep into the science-based perspective of all of that information. It's usually a topic that my clients have asked me to kind of go over. And so that has been very valuable for me as a coach. And something that I didn't realize that would be really valuable is I started doing that in January,
Mhm.
December ish. I recorded all of them, put them in a little Google Doc as like a library. And now when I have a new client, hey, Tara, can you tell me all about carbs? I'll kind of give them a crash course in our 30-minute check in call, but then
Mhm.
I tell them, hey, here's a video that I actually did. It's me sharing the science perspective of like what a carbohydrate is, how many calories it has per gram, what it does in your body, studies to show like literally breaking it down, deep diving.
Mhm.
So take your time, watch that in the background on your way to work, whatever the case may be. And so it's really valuable for me as a coach to be able to really scale my time, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So it might sound like a lot of clients, but not a lot of them are engaging with me, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, that's very interesting. So you mean to tell me, so someone pays 49.59 or 69 or 39, somewhere in there, under
Yeah.
$70. They get
Yes.
a 2 calls a month, group calls, and then they also get the access. They don't always book, but access to book a 30-minute call with you as well.
Yes.
So they get at
Absolutely.
minimum 3 calls if they want it a month, 2 group and one-on-one if they want it.
It's a weekly 30-minute call. So it's every week.
Wow. With you?
Yes. So weekly,
My
like
goodness.
like this
This is ridiculous.
topic. This week was a topic.
Mm-hmm.
Next week will be accountability. The week after that, it goes back
Oh,
and
the
forth.
group calls are every week.
Yes.
You got
Yes.
4 a month. So you got 2 topics and 2 accountabilities.
Correct.
Got
Correct.
okay. So you're blowing my mind even more. Now you tell me that they have 5 calls that they can get on. One is one-on-one and 4 are group calls a month.
Yes.
Holy shit. That's a lot of calls.
Mm-hmm.
That is a lot of calls. Um on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you enjoy doing that much work?
10 being I love it.
Yeah, 10 being like you wouldn't do anything else in your life ever.
A 10.
Really?
Yes. Absolutely. I have been passionate about food for
Mm-hmm.
years. And when I was because I've been a personal trainer for 6 years,
Mm-hmm.
a nutritionist for 1 year.
Oh,
And
the last 365 days, that's been it. Really?
certified nutritionist. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I've learned over the course of like the last
Mhm.
10 years or so, I've learned about nutrition. I mean, I
Mhm.
knew about carbs and calories and fats and protein and like what they do in your body well before I got certified as a
Mhm.
nutritionist. I've read fitness and health books
Mhm.
and studies for fun well before I was certified, which I think that that's what makes a great coach. You have to constantly be learning. You have to constantly, because science is ever changing, and it's important to be on top of the diet trend to be able to know the science perspective on everything and to help your clients navigate the red flags on social media. And that's extremely important to me. And I get to do that one on one with people. And a lot of, again, my 30 to 40 clients are not all engaging with me. I have maybe 10 clients that are engaging with me on a
Mhm.
weekly basis. So it's very manageable. And these weekly calls are invaluable for me because it sets me apart from all the other CG nutrition coaches. And it's one of the reasons I'm one of the more successful ones.
Mhm.
And so to me, I genuinely, as cliche and cheesy as this is about to
Oh
sound,
my God.
James,
This setup right here. Here we
get
go.
ready for it. Every morning I wake up and I'm like, this is amazing that I get to help people with their relationship with food. Because you have to think about it. I was talking to a client the other day and I told her 40 years of dieting, 40 years of yo yo dieting. This woman is insane. She said, Tara, our holiday topics are whatever new diet we've been trying. And that makes me so sad. Like it makes me really genuinely like this is not good. This is not a thriving. This is no way to live. And I'm able to teach her, hey, every gram of carbs has 4 calories and your brain needs them. Every gram of protein has 4 calories and you need them to fight disease. Every gram of fat has 9 calories and you need them for healthy eyes, skin, and hair. And, I'm able to teach her the nutritional value that's not going to change. Macros aren't going to change, right? Food changes over time, but macros, micronutrients, calories pretty much have stayed a being able to teach that invaluable information to all of my clients to set them up for success, lifelong success, to debunk all those fad diets that they've tried for 40 years is what I get to do. And my friends and family ask me about things and I get fired up. I'm like, I love this question. Let's talk about it. Like, it's so great that you want to know my opinion. And I think if you knew where I came from a little bit more, it would make sense because I wasn't the person that felt the smartest, right? And so then being a person that people come to me for, you want to come to me for this advice, then it's like, it really is my biggest passion in life. And it really is so rewarding. And I don't really get burned out. I mean, I take breaks and vacations and life balance, but it's like I'm excited to get back to my clients and talk to them and help them out.
Yeah. Speaking of some background things, right? You modeled from 16 years old to 21,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, that time, right? How instrumental was that for you and how you view body image?
That's a really good question. Um, I think that it didn't really affect me in a negative way. I did freelance modeling during that time, and I worked with photographers here in the Austin area. And it was very much like commercial modeling. Well, actually, I take that back. As I'm thinking about it, there was one time I was 18 downtown Austin to audition to be a runway model.
Mhm.
And I walked into that room and they told me that I was 2 inches too short and 10 pounds overweight to be a runway model. And I'm 5'7", And I think I was skinny fat at 18. I think I was like 130. I was healthy. There was nothing wrong. I've always loved my body. I'm a woman in America. So yeah, I've been like, oh, I wish but I definitely am love my body now. Like where I'm at now, I'm living in my dream body. Like I'm very strong. I'm very healthy. But I remember walking into that audition and told that and how that could have, not that it didn't affect me, because it was like, okay, well, I guess I'll stick to commercial modeling then. But it was kind of like, oof, it still definitely affected me in, I'm sure, a small capacity. But I think that it didn't, overall, my general experience doing modeling over those years didn't really negatively affect me. I made great friends, great connections. One of the photographers that I had actually was the photographer for my wedding, which was amazing. And I was able to grow a great network in that kind of world. And it was really fun. And it was this great hobby. And I really enjoyed it. I even got some paid shoots, which was really cool. And I had a lot of fun doing it. And I think, if anything, it probably built my confidence, because the photographers working with particularly didn't really Photoshop their photos that much. It was, I think, more real. And I think that's become more of the trend, which is really great. I think I kind of entered into the modeling scene when that was becoming more popular, to do less of the Photoshop and the editing. And so I really enjoyed that. That's a really good question. I don't know if I've done a answering that, but it didn't negatively affect. I think that it actually probably positively affected me.
Yeah, I think I too used to do a lot of TFP work, a lot of paid shooting on the other side of the camera, and I think that with the right team, with the right photographers that you're working with consistently, that make you feel comfortable, that make you feel strong, that make you feel present, that don't scare you, that don't push you to do things you're not comfortable with. I think that it really can raise your confidence like a stupendous amount. I know that sometimes when people hear modeling, especially those that have not modeled in any format, um, they think, oh, it's this throw up before the shoot, it's this not eat for 4 days, it's
Yeah.
this tons of makeup and all the photographers are trying to have sex with you, like it's this
Mm-hmm.
every stereotype stacked on top of each other. And so I was curious, with the work that you've done, where you had kind of found that was for you, because I know people have vastly different experiences.
Yeah. You cut out for a second, James. I'm sorry. Did you ask me a question?
No, no, no. I
Okay.
just said that I don't know what's happening with the internet, but it is definitely cutting in and out. Um,
Yeah.
what I was saying was that it is interesting, because with the right team, with the right people, with the individuals that are not making you uncomfortable, that are only doing what you're comfortable with. I mean, it can be just such a great experience for you to gain more confidence, for you to be a more confident, comfortable in multiple types of clothing, right? Comfortable in multiple scenarios with and in public with people staring at you while you're posing, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That can definitely be a definitely an interesting ordeal there. I want to respect your time and don't want to keep you for too much longer. I know you got calls and stuff you got to jump into. But from a coaching perspective, like you obviously you're not content or not complacent, let me say, with where you're at on your own health and wellness. How do you personally as a coach balance complacency with contentment for your clients?
I don't know if I understand the question.
So people can become complacent.
Mm-hmm.
People can also love their body, right? Sometimes people that love their bodies so much they stop doing things,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they become complacent. How do
Mm-hmm.
you how do you weigh, or how do you balance inciting in your clients contentment, loving where they're at right now without being complacent?
Without being, maybe I need help understanding what you mean by complacent.
Lazy.
Okay. So, for example, are you asking if a client gets to their goals to help keep them going in a healthy lifestyle to continue that success without losing some of those habits. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, more or less. More so, what I'm getting at is how do you balance people? People are ambitious. They're super fired up for a goal, right? They want to hit a goal. How do you stop people from when they hit a goal to falling down into the cavernous areas of never doing anything that they should be doing anymore? But on the other side, how do you get your clients to love themselves through the process and not just chase, like, I'm going to be happy at this weight, at this goal, at this height, at this moving, on back squat, at this with running? Like, how do you balance the two? Because there's such a fine line between the two.
Yeah. Okay. So I think this might be two questions. So the first one, you're asking me about the client who wants to achieve this goal. They get there. How do I help them not fall off the wagon
Yeah, well, really the goal is just how do you deal with the duality of the two?
of the
Because most
two?
people, like, the two are happening at the same time. People
Okay.
are people are trying to hit a goal, right? But they fall into a place of kind of one of two buckets unless they just stay linearly. But I've never in all of my time coaching ever seen someone stay linearly forever, right? They get to a place where then they become complacent because they hit a goal, or they get to a place where, like, I'm running away from the body that I hate, right?
Hmm.
It's a very easy thing to do to jump into either of those camps. I was just curious, you as a coach, how do you deal with that?
Yeah. Okay. I think I'm understanding now. So I think if a client reaches their goal and they're starting to get complacent and lazy, I think that that is a failure on my end as a coach. I think that that's on me and not the client. I need to own that if that happens, because that means maybe I didn't set them up for success as much as I thought I did. And I think that that means maybe it was a little unattainable and sustainable for them, which couldn't be further from my intention as a coach, which is lifelong success, sustainability, get rid of the what works best for you for the rest of your life. So I think that's on me. And I need to work on that as a coach to set them up and communicate and lead them better so that they don't get rid of that habit. They don't just fall off. Okay, I reached my scale weight. I'm done. That's on me. And as far as what you're saying with, like, what was the other thing that you were saying?
Just how do you balance complacency versus contentment, right? How can someone love their body while they're on this journey, but not
Yeah.
become lazy when they hit goals, but also not be running towards a goal while hating themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. That does happen a lot, and that's probably where most people are. I always try to help them understand that it's not just the scale weight, the body fat percentage, the look, the physique. It's, are you sleeping better? Do you feel better? Are you less stressed? Do you feel like you have more energy in the afternoon? Usually that is all happening first before they even are happy with the scale weight, happy with how they're looking. They start to immediately feel better once we start to dial that nutrition in. And so I try to really focus on those things, not overemphasizing, because it's not always about how you feel, because sometimes how you feel is inaccurate.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of that balance, but most of the time it is, hey, let's focus on these things. Are you healthy? Yeah. Are your cholesterol levels going down? Yeah. Are you're not on the, pre-diabetic path? Yeah. That's great. Okay, now we're going off of that instead of just really obsessing over this number. And, like, for example, yesterday I was on a call with a client, female client of mine, and she said, Tara, my arms and my legs aren't getting smaller. I said, okay. She said, but they're looking strong and they're looking really fit. And she said, I was driving and my husband looked at me and he said, babe, you are looking so fit and toned. And she said, I didn't really realize that that would be what I wanted, because, and she quite literally told me verbatim, like, oh, why aren't you getting smaller? Why aren't my thighs getting smaller? Which is so, it just breaks my heart that that's what women want to chase. It's far too often what women are trying to chase. And it's like, why, if you get there, you're not even going to look how you think you're wanting to look. You're smaller, but you wouldn't look healthy. You wouldn't look lean. You wouldn't look fit and toned and strong. So he kind of got there on her. But when that, then she asked me the question, do you think this scale weight is the number I should even be looking at? And I said, I'm really glad you asked that, because no, I think we need to reevaluate that number. And that was like a really great breakthrough for her. And that was a great moment with my client. So I think that, to answer your question, that first half that you're saying, kind of that balance is like, it's my job as a coach that my client fall off the wagon when they've reached said goal. That is my job. My job, help them the ground running, set up small, healthy habits over time for lifelong success. At the same time, hey, you're healthier now. Like, you're stronger, you're feeling better, you have mental clarity, you're, maybe nicer to your family. There's a lot of positive things that are non-scale victories happening here. And I think that that helps retrain the brain to not obsess over, I just wish I was smaller. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, that's interesting because a lot of people seem to think that I need to hit my weight pre-baby. I need to hit my weight pre three
High
babies. I
school.
need to hit
Yeah.
my weight when I was 16 and prepubescent, right? I need to hit my weight before I was a grown woman. Like, you don't need to do anything. What you should do, if you want to, is improve your health, right?
Mm-hmm.
And look at these non-scale wins. The scale can tell you a lot. It can tell you where you're at that moment, right? That's dependent on a lot of things. How much water, how much salt. Have you had a bowel movement recently? What kind of food are you eating? What's your gut looking like these days, right? Did you come
And
off a weekend
menstrual
of not
cycle.
sleeping, right? And menstrual cycle, absolutely. It's very interesting. It's scale over everything for so many people, perhaps because it's programmed that way, and perhaps because most trainers won't sit there and tell you you're wrong, right? It's actually not that. We need to look at something else. And so, yeah, I'm glad to hear that there's somebody else out there that's like, drop that damn scale weight. Drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it. You don't need it.
Yeah.
You do not need it. That's good.
It's really inaccurate. It's a really inaccurate way to measure progress. I really encourage my clients, the more and different ways that you can track progress alongside, if that's not triggering for you, or without the scale, is going to help you and me with this process even more. And I tell them, and like I said to my client yesterday, I said, when you weigh yourself, I need you to understand that that's not body fat. Those are bones, organs, your brain, like your hair. That is everything. Gravitational pull on the earth is all that it's measuring. And even when it goes up, it's still not up and down body fat. It's up and down everything you just listed: water weight, sodium, menstrual cycle, bowel movement. Like, it's, going up and down, not body fat. It's like, oh, I gained 2 pounds of body fat. No, no, no. Did you sauce in a margarita last night? Because you might be a little having some inflammation from that, which is fine. You lived your life. Good job,
Yeah.
So it's really important. And I agree with you. This, I usually tell everyone, you have a skill, great. Pick it up, throw it out the window. Okay, let's move on.
That's funny that you go that way, because I think that you and I probably value the scale as a standalone metric the same way, but I have people weigh every day.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
I do have everyone weigh once a week. I have them weigh once a week, every week, to update that, because I have yet to find a solution to measure everyone's body fat virtually.
Yeah, it's DEXA or InBody. They got it. You'd have to probably develop a relationship with somebody in their local market to have them give you a comp on that. It's interesting because I have people weigh more than they're used to. on purpose. And I use that usually in check-ins as data backwards to be like, look, you silly woman, you silly man. Let's just use some other words. But look, like, you had a fun weekend, shit nutrition, and you're up 5 pounds on Monday. Does that mean that you gained 5 pounds of fat? No. But just the same, the next day, when you did an 8-mile hike and you didn't bring water with you, you're down from where you were previously before the weekend. It doesn't mean you lost that body fat either. And so understanding that, like, look, that weight, just like getting your testosterone tested or estrogen or anything else, it is accurate for that moment in time, that sliver, that cut in the time-space continuum. That is what it is then, right? The reason why I have people do it more frequently than not is so that you have a variety of data all over the place.
Yeah.
Right. And so I can show you very actively that if your strength is going up, if your mobility is improving, if you're being more consistent on your protein goal, you're being more consistent on completing your step goal, you're showing up to the workouts and you're doing what I'm asking you to do, that, like, despite where that weight is, you can still make progress. And I can show you that. And then I can also show you that, hey, maybe it takes 4, 6, 8, 12, 16 weeks for that weight to actually come down after you've done these things consistently. Like, that's why I have more data on purpose.
Yeah.
But it is, for some people, like, it's not a one size fit all, and you can't have everyone weigh all the time, because some people mentally can't handle it and it'll send them the other direction. So totally
Absolutely.
get that it's not something for everybody.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I'm on board with all of that. I think that that's really great. If I, in an ideal world, could have all of my clients weigh every single morning, I would, because I want an average, a weekly average. And I want to be able to show them the peaks and the valleys and show them it's not a linear process. This is normal, right? It's going down linear, but up and down, peaks and valleys on a slant, more like, most of the time. So I agree that if I could, I would. It's been, and this is on me, it's been kind of pulling teeth to get them to do it once a week. And the 10 that interact with me on a weekly basis are really good with that. And so it was really me learning to be a better nutrition coach, because I was like, people would show up, Tara, I haven't seen any progress. I'm like, well, how are you tracking your progress? Because I asked you to track your progress, but I don't have any data. Well, I'm just going off of, how I look and feel. I'm like, okay, so that is not how that works. So we're going to need to do, and it was really something I learned the first year of being a nutritionist. I was like, didn't really communicate that, because I'm over here naive thinking, surely you would track your progress, because that's the whole point of this. No, people don't. Right. And I have to tell them how. And so I've gotten a lot better at my communication of, like, during all of my calls, I kind of end it with, like, I need you to do these 2 things. I need you to do these 2 things. And that includes updating progress tracker once a week. But I agree, if I could have everybody do it daily, it would be a much more accurate way to measure their progress.
Yeah. And protocols, I mean, it looks different for different types of clients trying to do different types of things, but I have a very hard and fast rule that on your weekly check-ins, if I send you the weekly check-in and you haven't updated your weight throughout the week and you haven't updated your trackers on your protein and your steps, that, like, I'm not giving you anything but generic feedback, and you don't have the ability to tell me I'm not seeing progress, because you're not giving me enough data to actually help you. So if you're not going to do that, if you're going to half-ass this, I'm going to make it a point to show you that we've got to do better. And I can only help you, especially virtually, if I have more information. You can't just say, I felt like shit today. Like, cool, I felt like shit at 10 o'clock this morning because I stubbed my toe. Does that mean that it was a shit day?
Yeah.
No. Does that mean that I throw the day away? No. But how many times are clients doing that, and then it impacts the rest of their week because we just don't have the data? We didn't see that, hey, Monday was a shit day, and then Tuesday we got back on it because you didn't log anything. So how the hell am I supposed to know what the heck's going on?
Yeah, exactly. That's so true. It's so great to hear from another coach who understands that, because I'm like shaking them. I'm like, and my verbiage is usually like, I can coach you better if I have all the data. And then, I don't know if this has ever happened to you, I got these people who are like, well, I didn't like the scale number, so I didn't update it because I didn't want you to see it.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, as I'm learning with all these clients, I'm like, okay, this is what I need you to do. These 2 things. I need you to update your metrics once a week at least. You need to do this, whether you like it or you don't. You need to update it. I'm never going to shame you. I'm never going to condemn you for your progress. But if I don't have data, I can't coach you. And that's been my language now. And they're like, okay, yes, ma'am. I'm like, get on it.
Yeah. And it's one of those things, like, you can't be the best coach if you don't have more data. If you just tell me, hey, James, like, I thought I was being nice, and, like, let's take it back to the sales thing for a second. Like, oh, I thought I was being nice and I thought it was going well, but I got ghosted. Well, sick. Like, did you hit the high points of your pitch? Did you hit the value stacking that you needed to? Because if you don't have the metrics of where you fell off or where they got disengaged, how can you improve?
Yeah.
How? Right? Similar to someone updating that they drank their water, that they hit their steps, right? That they showed up and did something good for themselves this week. Like, if you don't report that, we're in the dark.
Exactly.
100% in the dark. And so that's not going to work. Last question here. In your coaching journey, up to this point, what do you think has held you back the most?
It's a really good question. I think I could probably have a couple different answers for this, but the first thing that comes to my mind is planning ahead. I think planning ahead for a certain promotion and being consistent with that. I mean, you pointed out, I made that post on Facebook. I think I did put it in my story of, like, I'm training on my own. Let me know who wants to set up a free assessment. And I will own this. I have dropped the ball on promoting my training company and my training services the last 6 months. That's on me. And that's my fault, because honestly, I just didn't really know where I was going and what I was doing. And I'm not going to lie, I felt discouraged. I felt really discouraged. And when I was able to go meet with my friend who was kind of doing this and very successful, that reignited me. And that's when I dropped CG and started promoting. I think I still need a lot of improvement in that area. So I think it's being consistent in promoting what I'm doing so people can understand. And I've gotten that feedback before of, like, what are you doing? Are you with CG? Are you not? And I think I need to be more clear in that. And so I think what's held me back the most is not planning ahead and owning it, really owning it, making a decision, not being decisive, and really owning that decision and promoting it, instead of Sunday night, like, oh, what type of sale should I promote Monday? I need to plan way ahead, weeks in advance, of what I'm going to be doing for the fall, for the winter. And I think that has held me back the most.
So, leaving this conversation, what's on the docket? Are you going to be planning for your marketing calendar? Are you going to be learning sales? Like, what kind of planning? Do you think that it's just the planning also on the marketing and on the business side, and it's not the planning on the client side that's held you back? Like, is it just the marketing side for you?
I think for this year, if I look back at this year, it's the marketing side. I don't know about the client side. I'm not really sure about that, but I can definitely tell you, yeah, marketing for the last 9 months has, because I'm like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing or where I'm at either, guys, when people are asking me. And it's been quite confusing. And now that I have made a decision, I need to own it more and promote that more. And so what's on the docket? I mean, like I said, James, I always learn from everyone that I meet, right? And so I appreciate you challenging me on closing the sale. I think I'm going to reevaluate and make some changes on how I conduct my assessments. And I might try some new things out. I might follow up with the people who I did do free assessments with and try to see what works for them as far as being more assertive. I like that word rather than being pushy. because assertive is a positive thing. And that's what I mean by it. So I'm feeling challenged in that in a good way. And I really appreciate you communicating that to me. And like I said, I'm teachable, I'm open minded. So I'm going to reevaluate my assessments and how I close clients for training. And I need to kind of organize my link tree a little bit. So
You got so many links.
I know I
So
do.
many.
And you're not the only one to tell me that. So I know you're right. My brother-in-law does websites, logos and everything. So I told him, I was like, I need to come over and we need to do a website. So
Simple scales, fancy fails, my friend.
Simple scales, fancy fails. I like that. Yeah. So I need to do that. I need to have a one-stop shop. I need to just have, not 1,000 links in my link tree. So I'm feeling like really good feedback on that. And I don't want there to be a lot of links on my link tree. So I think I'm going to consolidate that. I'm feeling motivated and encouraged to kind of, start that path of, connecting with a website and getting that up soon.
Yeah. Well, one day at a time. Where can the people find you, right? If they're looking to work with you, or other coaches want to get, like, either potential clients want to connect with you, they like what you stand for, they like what they heard today, or coaches that want to get connected with you and have some networking going on. Where can they find you? What is the best place? I know you have 500 places. Where's the best place where you can send them to one place where they can find you?
Yeah.
And what are those handles? How is that spelled? Give me the rundown.
Best place is Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And my handle is at trainer_Tara Fit. Tara is spelled Tara. So that's the best place. I always check my DM requests, all the hidden little DMs every day. I check that. So that's the best place. Shoot me a message, leave a comment. I respond to all of my comments. I love connecting with other fitness trainers. It's very important to me, especially other coaches and trainers who align with the same. I share a lot of trainers in the area on abundance mentality. That's what I really believe in. So that's the best place, my Instagram.
Heck yeah. Well, we'll send them to your Instagram. We'll link that in the show notes. Thank you for taking the time. I know that we went longer than you probably expected, but I am glad that we took it long form on a few topics, and we'll decompress here in just a second. I'm going to stop the recording, but I appreciate you being here, and thank you everyone for listening. And we're going to cut that. Don't go anywhere, Tara.